Hey, what's up, guys? Madaz here, and wow, what a crazy day today! Complete roller coaster. Put myself in a very bad situation. Did actually have a decent start, but got myself in a bad trade. Ended up with a big loss, and got really fortunate that there were enough plays for the second half of the day. After I took my 1 hour break, when I came back, there were more than enough plays. Thankfully, the market was able to offer these kind of opportunities, and I was able to somehow salvage a miraculous comeback. But all in all, very disappointed because the opportunities today were amazing. Definitely wasted a possible amazing big profit day. Instead, I had to fight myself out a big hole, but I'm glad in the end it worked out and I ended up profitable on the day, although wholeheartedly probably didn't deserve to be. But I did manage the situation uh, correctly in the end and didn't force trades when there wasn't any and waited for the right opportunities to take advantage of. So, that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and discuss the trade that caused me the big loss. And then afterwards, I'm going to go over how I recovered my mindset and just was able to subsequently recover my losses and end up green on the day. This is not a very easy thing to do, and if you're new, it's going to be very difficult. Um, you're better off pretty much taking the rest of the day off if you're one of those people that aren't able to kind of repair yourself mentally after some sort of catastrophic event, such as a really bad loss. So if you're a little bit more advanced and you're able to kind of control your emotions a little bit better, I'm going to go over pretty much what I do to kind of recover your mindset and allow you to come back to trade that same day. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go over the trade. Actually, the first trade I made was actually a decent one. I got the long on this dip on SUNE and made 2,800 bucks. Did pipe down on the short and pretty much missed this big move on the way down. But started off with a decent trade, but then INVT, this was on the pre-market scanners. I completely underestimated this one. I saw this thing kind of start grinding up pre-market. Didn't see much volume, so I didn't really give it as much attention as it deserved. Um, I didn't really look at it until it had already made this big candle right here from 194 to about 259. And then I tried to short this pop because this was a prior resistance around here or so. So these two wicks right here on these last two big volume days felt like it would probably come into play as resistance. So I took a short against there, made a quick couple bucks, and then it just kept going. And I was very surprised that this thing had that much staying power. It kept going. It went from on this red candle right here from 216, and it went all the way up to 350. And 350 was the resistance, more or less, about right here, give or take. These candles right here, you can see the line, the bottom part of this range, and a lot of the consolidation right here, prior support right here, and also pretty much the last resistance before this downtrending started. This downtrend move started right here, down to this bottom here at 71 cents. So I felt that 350 would be the top, but then it started consolidating near the highs. And this got me kind of thinking that this might squeeze a little bit further because they were absorbing a lot of sells and they kept showing up with bid props repeatedly. Every single time it looked like it was about to tank. So I loaded a good amount of shares around 3 to 310 because I saw a lot of, like I said, a lot of bids propping the stock up and a lot of sells, big sells getting absorbed by the bids. And that got me thinking, okay, maybe whoever is controlling this stock, they want this thing to go up, and this thing has the potential to possibly run to maybe 420, which is this resistance level right here. So that was my target. I was looking for a big move, and I had a ton of shares scaled in, and I think I had probably at the most I had 28,000 shares, and I felt like I had a pretty good entry. Got about a 310 ish average, and that was pretty much the support level right here. And I was looking for a move toward 420. Now, I tried to sell the stock on this big candle right here when it went to 367. I was prepared to sell this thing starting around 380, 390 in anticipation for the 4 possible slam, rejection, whatever you want to call it. But it turns out it went to 367 and it washed out right here back down to 316 on this candle. And I wasn't quick enough, and it was completely my fault. I was up a substantial amount. It was 5-figure profits right here at this point. And I didn't sell, was too slow. I was looking to sell. I was thinking too one-dimensionally, thinking that this thing was going to go to 4s on this 351, which was the high of day break. And I was too narrow-minded there, thinking that I was going to hit 4s. I was ready to sell chunks at a time, 380, 394s, and then try to sell the rest at 420s if it gets there. But nope, it only hit 367 and slammed right down on the next candle. And pretty much I missed my sell completely, and I went from being up 5 figures to being up almost nothing. And then at this point, my thinking was, okay, they're still absorbing sells around 3, so I'm just going to hold this thing as long as 3 defends, as long as the bids keep showing up. At times I saw bids up to about 60,000 shares or so, and the sells were getting absorbed. There were a lot of people trying to dump this thing, and it wouldn't go down. So that led me to think, okay, they're still trying to prop up 3, so 3 is going to be a very, very, very key level, and as long as they defend 3, I'm going to hold this thing, and possibly it might make the move to 420 if it can trap enough shorts in this range and squeeze them. Okay, if they can scare enough shorts into covering because of the big bids that keeps propping up and all that sells being absorbed, this thing still has a possibility to squeeze back to new highs. Okay, but of course it didn't work out that way. 3s broke. Huge red candle down to 270, was forced to stop out, and I ended up taking a big loss because I had a lot of shares, 28,000 shares, and there was a lot of slippage here. So in hindsight, the lesson here that I learned was pretty much, if a stock is kind of just teetering here at this level, even though it looks like it may hold support, I think I need to reduce my risk, especially since it's technically making lower highs right here. It went to 320 and it couldn't sustain a move over 320. I probably should have sold half of my shares at a minimal gain just to minimize my risk in the event that I had to whack out on the bid and deal with the slippage. Because even though I had a stop out at 3, which is basically close to break even, it's kind of difficult to sell all of your shares if you have that many shares at break even, if this stock is capable of big moves with these huge candles right here, especially seeing how they absorb so many on the bid, and then all of a sudden, if it falls below a support level, everyone's going to panic. So that's going to cause a huge red candle, and that's exactly what happened. And with 28,000 shares, good luck trying to sell that. So I probably should have reduced it down to maybe 10,000 shares or so, and then I wouldn't have probably dealt with so much slippage. But nonetheless, learned my lesson. Ended up with a fat loss, $6,800. Obviously not pleasant. But yeah, it was very tough to read this thing. It was a very nervous hold. Definitely felt like I had a good position, a good entry for me to hold this. Normally, I wouldn't hold a stock for this long, but I felt like an entry in the 3s was a good entry, as it was near that 3 support level, possibly for the squeeze higher. But once this lower high was put in and the bids started disappearing, this thing was pretty much done. So that was my mistake, and definitely next time, gotta lower that risk, gotta reduce my size if it starts to look remotely sketchy, just to protect myself. And gotta be less greedy, gotta be quicker on the sells here. Was up over 5 figures when it hit 367. So maybe I should have just tried my best to just whack some of the bids here and take half off or something, and then take another half off here at 320, and then I would have locked in a good amount of profits. And then if I was forced to take a big loss here, it wouldn't have been that bad because I would have only had maybe like a fourth of my initial position left. But, mistakes happen. Lesson learned. Can't be holding full size if the stock's looking sketchy. So that caused a loss. And pretty much after this, thankfully, there were plays for me to make it up. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about how I was able to clear my mind and recover my losses on the second half of the day without, being very rash and making really stupid decisions and making really bad trades. Because definitely anyone who has no control over their emotions can easily turn a day that is already bad into a day that's very, very bad. Okay, I've been there. I know what it's like, and I can compare myself now versus the version of myself that used to be extremely reckless and just absolutely just force trades that weren't even there. Just going with massive size, looking for that one big trade that will make back all my losses in one hit, and especially when the trade wasn't even a high percentage trade, but I just didn't care because I would just go for it anyways because all I cared about was making back my loss. And that is completely not the way to go about things, guys. That is the worst thing you could do to yourself, and that's what causes blow-ups. It's the same thing that causes poker players to go on tilt. You start to not care. If you're down 6,000, why not risk more and try to make back the 6,000 at the expense of you possibly being down 10,000? That's the worst thing you can do. That's the fast track to being out of this game really, really quickly. So not only that, when your mindset's completely messed up like that, you're not only going to be forcing trades that aren't really there, you're going to be screwing up your go-to setups as well. Even if there are good setups available, you're not going to be able to execute the way you would have be able to execute the trade if you've had a clear mindset. So I'm going to quickly talk about what I did today that allowed me to come back and kind of put my mind on reset, pretend like that loss didn't happen, and I was able to come back, see that the market was offering some good opportunities, and take advantage of them, and subsequently able to recover my losses. So after this big loss here in INVT, I did post a tweet, something like, I took a bad loss on INVT, and there are no good plays right now, and I'm going to go ahead and take a break. Okay? So the old version of me definitely would have sat there and just would have kept trading into the chop, trading into the lull, and of course we all know that trading in a chop and trading in a lull, especially if you're forcing size, you're probably going to lose more. So I knew that around 9 o'clock Pacific time, so about 12 o'clock Eastern time, that's when I posted that tweet. That's when INVT was going sideways. That's when SUNE was kind of grinding down on lower volume. It was definitely going down on a nice downtrend, but I couldn't really get filled on the pops because the volume was so low. SSR was on, short sale restriction was on, and I pretty much wasn't really looking at much in the way of setups that I wanted to trade. So I decided to take a break. And on top of that, I wanted to just clear my mind and reset anything that was negative about the day, so I can come back and be prepared for anything that's available to me in terms of opportunities from the market. Okay, so what I did during that time, I took a 1 hour break, and what I did was I did something That was just keep my mind off of stocks and trading altogether for that 1 hour. So today I went out and I just went out for some fresh air, got myself some breakfast, um, did a couple push-ups, did some really, really random stuff that is completely unrelated to the market. Okay, because you want to get your mind off of that loss. You want to get your mind off of trading. You want to just ignore everything that's going on. I turned off my CNBC stream so I can't even hear it in the other room. Just take an hour and just give yourself an hour. Just give that hour to yourself and just do something that is not market related. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Just get your mind off of trading. Okay, that's the only way for you to just somehow pretend like that loss didn't happen. Okay, and like when you're able to come back later on, it'll be like you just woke up again at 9 a.m. in the morning Eastern time and started trading a brand new day. Okay, of course this is easier said than done. It takes sometimes months, years to develop the ability to reset your mindset like this. But nonetheless, you got to start somewhere and you got to develop it at some point. And like I said, my way about things is to just go take an hour, take even 2 hours, 3 hours if you have to, and just clear your mind by doing something that's completely unrelated to the market. You could do anything. You can meditate. You can go and walk your dog. You can go and jog. Do anything. Go run some errands. Go out of the house. Just get your mind off of stocks completely. Okay? And if you're one of those people that you feel like you're not emotionally ready to handle these kind of things, if you feel like that big loss just completely crushed you psychologically, like I said, you're better off just taking the whole entire day off, because chances are you're going to come back and you're going to do something reckless and you're going to regret it. Okay, I guarantee it 100%. So if you know yourself like you should, you know yourself better than anyone else, you should understand whether or not you're able to handle these kind of things. If you are, then take a break, do something unrelated to the market, come back, reset, and then see if you're able to take advantage of any high percentage opportunities. If there aren't any, the same rules apply. You can't force any trades. If there are, then you're able to do so and execute your trades with a clear mind, everything completely reset, and you should be fine. And that's what I did today. I came back, UVXY. I know that UVXY, typically if it goes over 38, it starts to speed up. The premium really starts to take over, and it starts to ramp up, and it can move really fast in a short amount of time. Like you can see on these candles right here, went from 37s up to 39s, in just a couple of candles. So I was ready for that. If I wasn't mentally prepared, if I was still psychologically damaged from my loss this morning, I would have probably completely screwed up this trade. I probably would have tried to chase it with massive size or something and then get dumped on. You can see all these candles. If you executed this trade wrong, it could have been pretty bad. If you chased it up here and then got screwed right here and lost $1 per share, that wouldn't have been very, very nice. So, like I said, you know yourself better than anyone else. Make an honest assessment of yourself. Understand whether or not you are able to recover from these kind of challenges, these kind of barriers. If you can, then there are things that you can do to kind of clear your mind and come back. If you can't, tomorrow is another day. You can just live to fight another day. Okay, guys? You don't have to force anything. It doesn't have to happen immediately. You don't have to make back the loss right away, especially if there's no trades available. You have to understand that, your mindset pretty much dictates a huge part of your performance. Okay, guys? That's why when you look at maybe a basketball player that has to shoot a couple free throws that are crucial to his team's victory, he's probably shot thousands and tens of thousands of free throws during practice, and he probably knows that he can make them 90% of the time, 80-90% of the time. But why, when there's pressure on the line, when there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot on the line, there are lots of players who completely fold under such circumstances. The same situation here, guys. When you're put under a lot of mental stress and strain, you got to understand that you're not in the right state of mind, in the right condition to make conscious decisions. And that's all it really is. And there are things to help you with that. And like I said, this ability takes a while to develop. And if you're unable to do so, like I said, just take the rest of the day off, guys. Just come back tomorrow and you'll be able to do a lot better that way, and you'll save yourself a lot of money. A lot more money will be in your account. Your account will be very thankful that you've done that. Okay. So I hope this helps, guys, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys another day.